Hey Gemini, we're going to be doing your reading, so we're going to get right into it and see what is going on for you guys. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. All right, let's see, Gemini. Okay, so you guys have the Moon card, and this is showing up for your energy for the week. So I kind of want to say maybe you guys like acronyms. I know that's really random, but that was the first thing that popped into my head with this. So I don't know, maybe that's something that I don't know, you like acronyms, or that's something that's like really important to you in some sense, okay? That type of situation. So maybe you're in the energy of wanting to like crack the code on something, that kind of stuff, okay? But I do feel like all that being said, the Moon card, that could also be you guys kind of just being in the energy of maybe wanting to go towards something that you're like, this is really kind of unknown, or there's like a mystery involved here, that kind of thing, okay? Maybe wanting to even shed light on something a little bit, that kind of stuff. I also understand doing shadow work, something about that, all right? That kind of stuff. Maybe some of you guys are really big into moon cycles, All right, so for the area of your feelings, you guys have the King of Swords here. It feels like you're feeling, you know what this feels like? It feels like you're like, I know exactly what I'm seeing, or I know exactly how to... There's something that I feel like you're like, I'm capable of this. Like I'm very sure of whatever this is, that kind of stuff. You might even be feeling like a friggin' expert in whatever this is. Maybe some of you guys are like really, really good at like following moon cycles, or maybe something to do with astrology, that kind of stuff. And you might be feeling like I'm an expert in whatever this is. For others of you guys, maybe this is something that you're feeling like, it's my responsibility to kind of like organize this thing, or something about that. Okay. That kind of situation. And then one more thing here, if there is something that you're maybe focusing on that you're like, God, that's kind of like clouded in like, something here, I want to understand like the depth of something, that kind of stuff, then I'm wondering if maybe you're feeling like, hey, the best way to do this is to go into this with like an attitude of like complete neutrality, all right, that kind of stuff. All right, so let's see. I'll also say something here. It's almost like there's something intuitive going on, but I wonder if you're feeling like, yeah, but I need to make this make sense. Like this has to logically make sense, something like that. So, all right. You have the Queen of Cups, and this is showing up in your environment. So there's either like, I want to say like a psychic, or somebody who is deeply intuitive, deeply like in tune, something about that. Maybe some of you guys like music, okay? Happening around you, all right? That's kind of what I'm feeling. This feels cool. This feels absolutely like, again, like intuition, or like something to do with like cycles, or noticing patterns, maybe that kind of stuff, all right? And I almost understand something about being like predictive with that, okay? This doesn't have to be like predictive in the sense of like the psychic world of like, I'm predicting these things, okay? Doesn't have to be that extreme. It could just be that you're like, I've seen this thing enough times, or I understand something that maybe somebody else doesn't really understand that well. You might just be like, I understand that, and I'm able to kind of navigate like, the emotions involved in this, or whatever the heck it is, okay? That kind of stuff. There also maybe is somebody around you who maybe has this particular feeling towards what you're doing, or is like, I don't know, they're like intuitively connected to you in some way here, okay? I really do understand that. All right, so you have the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like has been coming out a good amount. So all right, you guys have it showing up for your goal here. So yes, doesn't surprise me with that King of Swords. I do think there's something here that you're trying to. It feels like trying to make something that's like really like intuitive, or something about that, or taking like an intuitive insight or something, okay? Something that's not fully revealed or fully like black and white, something about that. And again, trying to like make it make sense, or trying to like make it like logical, or whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff, okay? And I feel like your goal, maybe your goal is to make it, I want to say like palatable for somebody else, or being like, I'm going to bring this like really down to earth so that it's understandable in a particular way, that kind of stuff, okay? Definitely could be. Some of you guys might even be doing, I want to say like working with your hands, or doing something with your hands, that kind of stuff, okay? I almost want to say something like ritualistic, or something about that, okay? Again, I know these are timeless readings, but it's like right around Halloween's tomorrow, but something like that. Okay. There might be some like parenting something or other, or something to do with, want to say like fertility, something about that. Okay, there might have something to do with that. So, all right, for your challenge, you guys have the Eight of Wands here. I feel like this is just having a hard time communicating in some capacity or getting something up and running. I also wonder if it's like, I wonder if there's like something that is like being, if this is like a message of some sort, I wonder if something is being missed because like either maybe you're not speaking up on exactly what it is that you want, or there's like confusion so that what you are actually asking for is like, there's like confusion there, okay? That kind of stuff. Yeah, it might be like the way that you're asking for something, or the way that I almost want to say the way the tides are moving. Isn't that really friggin' interesting? Like the way the tides are moving. That's not that wild considering you have the Moon card here, okay? Could have something to do with that, like gravitational pull, or I don't know, something. So, all right. I also wonder if the challenge here is you might be feeling blocked in some capacity. You could be feeling kind of like blocked, or feeling like what it is that you're trying to like say, or trying to kind of like catalyze here, that kind of stuff. Like there just might be a challenge in actually like getting that like up and going, or something about that. All right, so it almost feels like you might be feeling like no one is going to like listen, or no one's going to respond to something that you're like trying to explain, that kind of stuff. Especially if this does have to do with like intuition, there are some, sometimes that does happen. Like somebody might like ask for a particular sign, or they might, want like a particular, I don't know, intuitive nudge on something, whatever it is. But it's like, okay, then like if they receive it, they're not really like paying attention to it. Or if you kind of like catch that for them and like deliver to them, sometimes like they can just be like, oh, okay. And it's like, well, all right, but you're asking for, like clarification or for like confirmation. But then when it comes, it's like, I don't know, there might be something. So, all right, for your opportunity, you guys have the Fool card. So maybe doing something that is a little bit of a risk, or repeating something, okay? Maybe this is like, all right, we're going to repeat this again, start something again, start it from the top, whatever it is, that kind of stuff, okay? That might be part of this opportunity here. I will also say, if you're feeling like you have to be like an expert at everything, I wonder if like this opportunity is like, you don't have to be an expert at everything. Like, just kind of go into it and like kind of expect or hope for the best, and that kind of thing. All right, so let's see what's going on here. What's this? The Six of Pentacles kind of got like stuck in there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's almost like you were trying to maybe like give something to somebody, and it was like not received, or not received the way that you had anticipated, something about that. So, all right, let's see. I also wonder if I'm almost getting like somebody who is asking something, but there's a different question behind what they're actually asking. And that might be interrupting the flow of something. You know what I'm saying? Or confusing some situation. So, all right, let's see what's up. Gemini. You guys might like animals, or that might be something here, okay? There might be like an animal reference. Okay. I'm also getting this street, something about this street. Oh my God, I have so many conspiracy theories, I swear it to God. Wow, okay. All right, so let's see, Gemini. All right. Oh, look, I'm using the same deck to clarify. I guess we're using one deck to clarify your reading here, because that's what I did. I trust my intuition, so that's what we're doing. Chariot, see? Go for it. All right, so let's see. You guys have, so with the Moon card, you guys have the King of Pentacles here. That's interesting. Hold on. So the Chariot's at the bottom. This card, or these cards, like they're all like black and white. I feel like there's something there. So I don't know. Maybe you're looking for like some more color in your life, or something, or like they say like a pop of color, that kind. Maybe you guys are really good at like designing stuff or having things like look good. That'd be awesome. I suck at that. So okay. So with the Moon card, you guys have the King of Pentacles here showing up for your energy. So yes, I do feel like there's something. This almost feels like calculating something based on cycles, or calculating something based on like the tides, or the moon cycles or something about that kind of stuff. And I also understand something about having your intuition be reliable, okay? It's like, this thing is reliable. It happens all the time. Or I get this, download all the time, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I'm reliable intuition, that kind of stuff, or being like, you know what, I'm gonna go through this mystery, whatever it is. Maybe it's gonna take a long time, but I'm doing it, So, all right, you have the King of Swords and you have it with the Knight of Swords here, and this is showing up for how you're feeling. That's what I'm saying. It almost feels like you're like, okay, if somebody asks me something about this, I need to have a response right away. It has to be accurate. It has to make sense. That kind of stuff. Almost feeling like you are feeling like you're going to have to like convince somebody of something. And like, that's not fun. That's not a fun thing to feel like you have to convince somebody of something. That's all, like, we don't even have to do that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know your intuition is like doing what it's doing, all that kind of stuff, who cares? Not everybody wants to hear about it. That's fine. That kind of stuff. I've definitely experienced that. So, all right. So in your environment, you guys have the Queen of Cups with the World card. So this is somebody who is absolutely has like felt something that you have felt as well. Or somebody who is like, you know what, I've had like, maybe this is somebody who's had a particular like win in something, or who's like, you know what, I've learned that lesson. I've gotten that synchronicity. I've gotten that download. I've experienced whatever the heck this thing is, maybe like psychically or intuitively, that kind of stuff. And it could be that they're like, I've completed that journey. I've completed this cycle, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying. There's a good amount about like cycles and stuff like that, there really is. So, all right. This is kind of cool. So, all right, let's see. So with the Queen of Pentacles, you guys have the Knight of Pentacles here. So yeah, in the past, it's like something was, I feel like in the past you worked really hard on something, okay? Like put a lot of like time and effort into something, maybe kind of dedicated your efforts to like one particular thing, that kind of stuff. And I do see something about kind of like learning, that kind of stuff, maybe trying to get something up and running. And now I feel like with that Queen of Pentacles, it's like, I'm going to cultivate this. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to nurture it, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. And it really is starting to like, kind of, I want to say like, if you've like planted a seed and now there's like a little sprout coming out, it's like you have the goal of like really nurturing that, like really taking care of it, that kind of stuff. And I do think that there's a level of being really grounded, in reality, I want to say, while going through whatever this is, all right, which is absolutely amazing. So, okay. It's like the seeds you're planting now are going to like be like abundant in the future. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing. So, all right, you have the Page of Wands, and this is showing up as the action to take. So absolutely like, letting yourself have some type of adventure, or at the very least, like if you have like an impulse or like something that you're like, I need to move in this direction, or I'm really excited about this thing, I want to like get involved in it, or whatever the heck it is. It could be that that's what to do. Okay. Especially with all this like grounded energy. Okay. You got the King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, like that can be kind of like, maybe monotonous, okay, something about that. So this Page of Wands is like putting some like spice in something, or, kind of, like spicing something up, or like being kind of excited, or like introducing something that's like different, something like that. That's what I feel like would be a good idea. All right, you have the Ten of Swords, and that's showing what this is going to bring. So I think that this might bring an end to a cycle that maybe does have like monotony or something about that kind of stuff. Okay, certainly could be. For some of you guys, if this has anything to do with investments, and or like finance, I'm only saying that because you have like literally every single like court card of the Pentacles out here. It could be that it's like you maybe started doing something in the past, like maybe very I want to say like prudently or something like that, like not just going like completely for something, but really being kind of like calculated with it, or not so calculated, but being like maybe over checking something or something about that, that kind of stuff. I think that your goal now might be to make something more efficient, that kind of stuff, okay, or more reliable in some sense. And I feel like, having this Page of Wands here with that Ten of Swords is like, hey, go ahead and like do something that's like, a little bit more maybe of a risk, or a little bit exciting, that kind of stuff, something kind of different, maybe moving around, whatever the heck it is, so that again, you can like end a cycle of like, maybe again, feeling like, okay, this is kind of boring, or I'm putting like all of my time into this, all of my energy into this, that kind of stuff. Okay. That could be something here. And of course there could also be, health references, something about that. So, all right, you have the Three of Wands, and this is showing up as what to avoid. All right, I would avoid like waiting around for longer than you have to, or waiting for maybe a particular response of some sort. Okay. That kind of stuff. I feel like that maybe is like, to avoid that, and maybe kind of like, I almost want to say taking like, I don't know if it's like leadership, but it's at least kind of like going after what it is that you want without feeling like you need permission, or you have to wait around for somebody to say like, okay, now you can do it, or, something like that. So, all right. So you have 2 8s here. So maybe there's like some surprise coming up, or I don't know, something like that. Okay. That kind of stuff, or something like quite unexpected in some capacity. So with the 8 of Cups showing up in the past, I wonder if you walked away from something that you actually like didn't want to, I wonder if your emotions were kind of involved in something still, but you might have been like, whatever, I'm going to walk away. I don't know if this is like really what I want, or there's like, this feels like something's missing, that kind of stuff. That might have happened in the past energy. And with this 8 of Wands showing up as your challenge now, I almost wonder if it's like, okay, I walked away from that thing and then the energy picked up, or something about that. Okay. I also wonder if maybe there was like a disappointment or something in the past, and maybe the challenge now is to get the energy moving, and that kind of stuff again. Okay. That could also be it. And I do understand something about possibly, again, feeling like maybe blocked from a particular person or information of some sort, that kind of stuff. Do you know what I'm also getting is you were walking away from something, or somebody else was, and then you said something and they didn't hear what you said. So then you're in this space of like, well, they didn't give me an answer. And it's like, no, they didn't hear you because you were walking away when that happened or something. I'm also picking that up for somebody. So, all right, you have the Knight of Cups, and this is showing up as the action to take here. So yeah, like really following your heart, maybe even being like, what, the thing that you wish would happen, maybe that's what the action to take is like Page of Wands and the Knight of Cups. It's like, if you have a desire for something and your heart is in it to the point that you're like, this would be like a wish come true, I would say move in that direction. Okay, that kind of stuff. Maybe even doing something that's like creative, and like this is like an expression of like creativity in some sense, like an outlet of something here. Okay, that kind of stuff. I really understand, like definitely listening to your intuition, and not even just like listening to it, but like thriving in that, like being like, I know I'm correct, not like in like a cocky way, but just like in a way that it's like no one can gaslight you into thinking like, oh, that's not what happened, or that kind of stuff. All right, so you have the Hierophant, and this is showing up as what this Knight of Cups will bring. So I feel like this is like, again, this could even be like your new normal. It could be like, that's the new way that I do things, is I feel the energy, or I have that feeling of like, yep, that's what it is. And that's the thing that I'm making like my new normal, or that's the thing that is going to be like the way that I maybe teach somebody else something, or learn about something. But I also think it's like, you have this 8 of Wands here, maybe feeling kind of like blocked from somebody. I wonder if this is like, kind of opening up in some capacity, and then what that might bring in is feeling kind of like welcome somewhere, being like, okay, this is where I'm going, something about that. Okay. I also understand that bringing you a sense of like, being really committed to whatever it is you're doing, or being like, this is very reliable, like I know I can trust this, that kind of stuff. Okay, especially if this is like astrology or something to do with that, that kind, something about that, like there's something in there. Okay, and again, not everyone believes in that, and you know what, that's okay, that's all right. All right, so you have the Ace of Swords, and this is showing up as what to avoid. So maybe that's what to avoid, is to like try and get everybody, have everybody like believe like your kind of way of doing something here, that kind of stuff. And I also think I would avoid, I want to say, following every moment of like an aha moment, like thinking like, avoid thinking that every time that you have like oh, now I get it, that means like, I don't know, something more than what it means. Do you know what I'm saying? Like making something like even larger than it really is. Like, I don't know if there's like, I don't want to say exaggeration, because I feel like that would be more of like the Ace of Wands really. But there's something, maybe this is like not expecting or avoiding a particular, conversation, a particular topic of something. I don't know, something like that. So, all right. Okay. So with the Fool card here, you guys have the Empress, and this is showing up. Oh my God, I thought my camera wasn't filming this, and I was going to get really sad. Okay. So for your opportunity, you have the Fool card with the Empress. So in the past, I do think something was thriving, or there was an energy of maybe being like, I have more than I need, or I'm very comfortable. I can, do this without even trying, I almost want to say something about that. Okay. Okay. Certainly could be. And I feel like now this is maybe like, again, doing something a little bit new, especially with that Page of Wands, like injecting a little bit of like excitement or adventure, something about that, that kind of stuff that might be, part of your opportunity here. I do think that there's maybe an energy of like taking some sort of risk, but I wonder if this is like a personal risk or I don't know, or maybe the risk is even like the way that you're helping out somebody or lack thereof. I am getting more of that fertility reference, okay, with this, like the Moon card, Queen of Pentacles, the Empress card, Queen of Cups. Like, I really definitely am getting, that type of energy. So again, it could be that like, fertile with, I don't know, whatever the heck it is, a great idea, or your intuition is like having like a, is on the up and up, or whatever the heck it is, something about that. I feel like your opportunity is to really like lean into something that's like new, or again, you're seeing kind of as a risk, or, something like that. Okay. And again, I do understand something about like, something might have made, so something might have like made money in the past, that kind of stuff. And I wonder if your opportunity is to like, I want to say reinvest into something, if this is like a financial thing, or if it's like, hey, I'm really good at predicting this particular thing, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. Then maybe it's like, okay, like restarting something, but doing something a little bit different, doing something a little bit different. And I almost feel like there might be something that's kind of calling you to do that anyway, with this Queen of Cups and the World card in your environment here. So, all right, you guys have the Four of Pentacles, and this is showing up as the action to take. So I understand this as saving something and then having something to kind of like play with, or, I don't know, something like that. Okay. I do think that there's something to like, so look, getting out of the world of finances, that kind of stuff. If this is like, this Ace of Swords saying like, hey, maybe there's a particular topic or a particular person or whatever the heck it is that like maybe that should be like avoided, like talking about that or whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff, or saying a particular thing, whatever it is, it might be that the action here is to hold back on that thing particularly, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's what I'm understanding. I also understand something about like maybe making sure that you have like a safety net for something, or you know what I'm saying, something about that, something that like you're feeling like physically safe or comfortable during whatever this is here. All right, so you have the Eight of Pentacles showing up as what that's going to bring. I feel like it's bringing, I feel like whatever this is, it's making you better at whatever it is you're trying to do here. That's what I think. It's like making you better, or something is more efficient, that kind of stuff. Okay, I even understand holding on to a particular lesson, that kind of stuff, and then still, but while still learning other stuff, you know what I mean? Not just being like, okay, I'm going to forget everything that I know, and now I'm going to kind of like go towards this belief system or this way of whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. It's like holding on to something while still getting better at whatever it is you're doing. All right, so what to avoid? You guys have the Five of Pentacles. I feel like this is avoiding putting yourself in a situation where you're now feeling like I do not have what I need. Like I don't have this. I feel like I've maybe like lost a whole bunch, or I feel completely out of it, or I feel not included in something, that kind of stuff. It's like that fine line of like, knowing when to, it's almost like the Strength card, knowing when to like kind of like hold back, and knowing when to like push yourself forward on something, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's kind of what I'm feeling here. So all right, that's what I have for you guys, Gemini. I hope this reading was helpful and made sense, all that kind of stuff. If not, you could check your other placements, and I'll see you guys back for your next one. Thank you. Bye.